Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke. And today we have Reverend Stone presenting for us on this Sunday, the 30th of November 2025, or the 11th of October in the 13th year of Chongalguk. Thank you all for coming, and let's begin with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, Chanjin Chakunin Kyombe. Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English.
하전맨세 5. 천일급 주인 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 전산세계와 대산적 지산세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 5. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges to strive every day to advance the unification of the spirit world and the physical world as subject and object partners by centering on true love. Thank you, and I'd like to share Mother's prayer again. Heavenly Parent, may glory be with heaven, and may praise and exaltation overflow in all people on earth. True parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we are so grateful. You have worked so hard. We know that today we are unworthy creatures that cannot stand under the wing of this great blessing and grace. Yet heaven has broadly and magnanimously embraced us again. Father, how can we be the only ones to receive this grace and deeply moving experience? To you, our Heavenly Parent, we pledge and resolve once again to move as one force toward the completion of Chongalguk until the end of our days. Heavenly Parent, please embrace us. We have the fervent desire to stand before you as children who can receive your love and be proud. Our dear God, on this occasion, I beseech you, our Heavenly Parent, please protect us to the very end, and may your will be accomplished well throughout the entire world. Arju. And let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Stone as he shares this morning.
Morning, everyone. I'll just share the screen.
It looks like it is already sharing.
Oh, okay, all good.
There's pictures of witnessing.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah, terrific. Okay, so the screen is full size. Everything's right?
Yeah, it looks good. I
Terrific.
don't know it's at the beginning, though. It might be a couple of slides in. But,
Oh, okay. I'll go back.
yeah, sharing
Oh, this
some
is the
thoughts.
beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, so once again, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our Hundoke. As we know, we're in a very challenging situation with Mother in detention, and we're working very hard to get her released. But at the same time, she's pushing us strongly to witness, and probably more than ever, she's pushing us to witness. So I thought I'd share a few thoughts about witnessing. And as you know, we've particularly on the initiative of Reverend Santosh, we've but also with the work of many people, we've set up this witnessing exhibition of Mother and Father of Peace. And here we see one of our Top Gun sisters standing there. So 3 times a week we go out. People go out there and bring people in. So this is our. It's been good, very encouraging. So here's another one of our Top Gun sisters. It's a bit wet that day, standing outside and handing out pamphlets, trying to get people in. When they come in, we show them around this exhibition, as most of you know, and so it's a great opportunity. And they sign up, and we get their contacts and seek to bring them into further education. So there's Reverend Santosh working to convince someone to come in. So heaps of young people, a lot of students in this particular area, but also, all people of all ages and all races. That's across the road, just opposite the Peace Embassy. So here's some of our dear brothers and sisters, some of our home members, Jean-Yves, Katrine, very consistently going out, and Reverend Santos. So, I thought I'd share a few thoughts based on 5 points. First of all, witnessing to influential leaders, point A. Secondly, witnessing to prepared people. C, why we need to witness. D, some valuable advice from True Father about witnessing, and some important advice from Reverend Do. So, okay. So first of all, point A, witnessing to an influential leader. So I think, definitely, probably the most significant, important leader that was witnessed to 2,000 years ago at the beginning of Christianity was St. Paul. As you know, but particularly powerfully launching Christianity after the crucifixion. He never met Jesus, but he was a great leader. And we read a little bit about him in Acts 9, 1-9. Meanwhile, Saul was still breathing out murderous threats against the Lord's disciples. He went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he found any there who belonged to the way, whether men or women, he might take them as prisoners to Jerusalem. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I'm Jesus, whom you are persecuting," he replied. Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." The men traveling with Saul, stood there speechless. They heard the sound but did not see anyone. Saul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he could see nothing. So they led him by the hand into Damascus. For 3 days he was blind and did not eat or drink anything. So quite a dramatic conversion of this man, Saul, who later was asked to change his name. So who was Saul? Because there's famous paintings about this conversion and so on. So the great apostle was a Jew of the tribe of Benjamin. He had been a Pharisee. He surpassed all his peers in zeal for the Jewish law and their traditions, which he thought to be the cause of God, and became one of the most fierce enemies and persecutors of Christians. He was one of the conspirators in the martyrdom of Saint Stephen, the first martyr. So it says in the Bible that he was like a Pharisee of Pharisees. So Pharisees were, I guess, if you draw an analogy today, they're really fundamentalist Christians, very, very strictly adhering to Jewish law. and he surpassed all his peers. He was so zealous. He was a man of zeal and capability. He could speak he could speak Latin. He was well educated and so on. He was a leader. So in Philippians, this is a book written by Paul. It says the following. Well, anyway, if someone thinks less, if someone else thinks they have reasons to put confidence in the flesh, I have more. Circumcised on the 8th day, of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, in regard to the law, a Pharisee, as for zeal, persecuting the church, as for righteousness, based on the law, faultless. But whatever were gains to me, I now consider loss for the sake of Christ. What is more, I consider everything a loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Jesus Christ, my Lord, for whose sake I have lost all things. So his zeal was originally for Judaism and the law. But when he met Jesus in spirit, he completely changed. And his zeal became one of passion for Jesus. And that passion was conveyed to all the people he witnessed to. And even though the disciples were like fishermen, so I guess they had different approach, but he went out and took the gospel, and he was one of the ones who created a whole foundation for Christian growth in those early days. He was put in prison, he was beaten, he was tortured, all kinds of things happened to him, but he just kept going. What a leader, So also talked about St. Stephen. He was a conspirator in the death of St. Stephen, right? So this gives us more insight about Paul. St. Stephen is traditionally venerated as the first martyr of Christianity. According to the Acts of the Apostles, he was a deacon in the early church at Jerusalem who angered members of various synagogues by his teachings. Accused of blasphemy at his trial, he made a speech denouncing the Jewish authorities who were sitting in judgment on him and was then stoned to death. He said very boldly, but perhaps unwisely, I don't know, you stiff-necked people, your hearts and ears are still uncircumcised. You are just like your ancestors. You always resist the Holy Spirit. Was there ever a prophet your ancestors did not persecute? They even killed those who predicted the coming of the righteous one. And now you have betrayed and murdered him. You who have received the law that was given through angels, but have not obeyed it. So, wow, what an accusation. They became so angry because they just took him out and they just stoned him to death. Now, what a horrible, horrible way to die. And sitting on the rock there on the left was Saul. So, so once again, the Acts, chapter 7, 54 to 60, the stoning of Stephen. When the members of the Sanhedrin heard this, they were furious and gnashed their teeth at him. But Stephen, full of the Holy Spirit, looked up to heaven and saw the glory of God and Jesus standing at the right hand of God. Look, he said, I see heaven open and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. At this, they covered their ears and they yelled at the top of their voices. They all rushed at him, dragged him out of the city, and began to stone him, while the witnesses laid their coats at the feet of a young man named Saul. While they were stoning him, Stephen prayed, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit. And then he fell on his knees and he cried out, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. When he said this, he fell asleep. Sorry about that, but just imagine what was going on at that time. And there was Saul, who was really vehemently against these young Christians, and he was there sort of conspiring to have him stoned to death. And he went on to try to change others. But God had a different plan. of course, for him. And with the indemnity, it is said, of the death of St. Stephen, God was able to give that revelation and turn the heart of this man around, because God needed a leader. God needed somebody who had the capacity to move people. He was obviously a great orator. He was, able to bring Christianity in these very difficult times out to the world, and he did. So when we look at the chapter, Divine Principle, chapter 4, the Messiah, section 2.3, it reads the following: The prepared Jews, and John the Baptist in particular, were the rich people who had been blessed with an abundant wealth of God's love. Yet, because they all rejected Jesus, he had to roam the sea coast of Galilee and the region of Samaria to search among the poor for those who would listen to the gospel. These poor ones were uneducated fishermen, tax collectors, and prostitutes. And the disciples whom Jesus would have preferred to find were not such as these. Since Jesus came to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth, he was more in need of one leader who could guide 1,000 than 1,000 who would follow a leader. Did he not first preach the gospel to the priests and scribes in the temple? Well, he was only 12, right? He went there in search of prepared and capable people, but as we know, he couldn't find them there. So a great leader was found after Jesus' passing, not to bring the disciples down. They were also emerged as great men under the inspiration of their love for Jesus. But God needs leaders, right? So we have to be aware of this. That God needs people. So that's another. That's a famous fresco of the conversion of St. Paul in the Vatican. Yeah, that was done by Michelangelo, right? So very, of course. So yeah, so the first point is just, yes, God needs leaders. Let's bear that in mind. But of course, he needs us to love everyone as a condition to to in due course find leaders. But we need to understand God's need for these leaders. So B is witnessing to a prepared person. This is also from Divine Principle. And chapter 3, Eschatology 5.2, our attitude in last days. So fallen people's spiritual sensibility is extremely dull. Hence, they generally tend to adhere strictly to the letter of truth in their efforts to follow God's providence. Such people cannot readily adjust themselves to the dispensation of the new age, even though the providence of restoration is moving towards it. They are generally too strongly attached to the outdated perspective provided by the doctrines of the old age. This is well as illustrated by the case of the Jewish people of Jesus' day, who were so attached to the Old Testament that they could not respond to Jesus' call to open a new chapter of the providence. On the other hand, are those believers who receive divine inspiration through prayer and to grasp spiritually the providence of the new age. Even though this may put them at odds with the doctrines of the old age, they will still respond to the promptings of the Spirit and follow the calling of the new providence. Among the disciples of Jesus, there was not one who was overly attached to the Old Testament scriptures. Rather, they all responded to the spiritual experiences which they could sense through their inner minds. In the last days, people who lead an ardent life of prayer or who live by their conscience will feel intense anxiety in their hearts. This is because in their hearts they vaguely sense a spiritual calling and want to follow the providence of the new age, yet they have not come in contact with the new truth which can guide them to act accordingly. These are the chosen ones who, once they hear the new truth, will be awakened simultaneously in their spirits and intellects by spirit and truth. They will then fully understand God's providential needs concerning the new age and will volunteer with great enthusiasm and delight. Now, wow, wouldn't we want to find people like that, right? Once they hear the new truth, they just, say, hey, this is what I've been looking for. Yeah, this is right. And volunteer with great enthusiasm and delight. Aren't they the ones we're looking for? They are. Well, they're the chosen ones. So definitely we're looking for the chosen ones, right? Perhaps we were chosen ones, right? You think back at your time and you saw the principle and you saw this new truth, and then something just hit you. Hey, this is what I've been looking for. This is answering all my questions. Yes, I feel pushed. Yes, this is it, right? So they're the ones we're definitely looking for. They've got to be open in spirit, right? And then be able to resist the pulls of the old world that they come from, whether it's their relatives or whether it's their religion, and they have to have the courage and strength to follow this new way, right? So we are looking for new ones, of the chosen ones, right? So be prayerful when we're witnessing. Let's pray for those to meet those people and to be able to win them. See why we need to witness. Well, this was a slide given by Rev Tucker. He in his presentation just a couple of weeks ago, but I thought it's so beautiful as to why we need to witness, each one of us. What is the fastest way to connect with God? This is from Words of Father, I guess. Did you think you could form a bond to gain fortune without walking a miserable path? 1. The fastest way to connect with God is not through prayer, but by going out to the field. 2. The purpose of prayer is ultimately to save people. 3. Witnessing is the fastest path to inherit God's heart. 4. Witnessing is the path to create new life. 5. Without witnessing, my spirit cannot grow eternally. 6. The one who does not witness is in the greatest danger. Their family collapses, the church and nation collapse. Therefore, we must witness. 7. If we offer sincere devotion for witnessing, we can meet God first. 8. Therefore, the greatest devotion is witnessing. Now, that's such a clear guidelines about witnessing. And personally, I just have been trying to do more witnessing. And I feel it's like I've been suffocating because I'm not witnessing. So witnessing is like breathing. It's like, hey, this is the way to get God's to be able to breathe spiritually. So yeah, we have to do this, and this is the reason why we have to do it. Very clear, these 8 points. Number D, some valuable advice from True Father about witnessing. So this is from the little red book, God's. It's the way of God's will. So I've taken a few extracts from that. Witnessing should be preceded by heart. To witness, you should have so strong an emotion that you become a artistic magnet who can draw the minds of all people. So the attitude we have when we're witnessing is really important. If we have a longing, then our longing will be like a magnet to attract the people we're looking for, the people who are searching. Witnessing is like creating a second self. It would be no problem if you dedicate as much heart as a mother does to nurture and care for her newborn baby. So yeah, we're spiritual parents, and we're creating our children, spiritual children, which are our eternal assets. Have you ever heard the groaning and wailing of many people trapped in the tomb of Satan? And have you ever felt righteous indignation to liberate them? So this is this is the kind of mindset we can develop and to save the people. There are many who want to save good people, but few who want to raise bad and pitiful people so that they may become good and happy people. Since sinful history has lasted 6,000 years, you must spend at least 6 months dedicating your heart to raising each person you have found. So this is another point. I recall that people ask Father, well, should we just witness to really good people and sort of put aside people who are not so high level or something? No, he said no. He said you have to witness to all types of people because that's the condition of love. We can't be accused of not loving. That's a bad condition. So we have to love all people. But at the same time, we need to also think of how we can further God's providence to save all people. So yes, we have to spend time, as it says here, it says 6 months, right? But anyway, we need to love all people, category A, B, and C people, or whatever you want to say. But we need to give God's love to all people because people demand love legitimately. Yeah. So continuing on with these quotes from True Father, who are the persons who will cry out in my place, inheriting my desire to visit all corners of this land and cry out? Because we represent true Father and true Mother when we witness. We represent Heavenly Parent. And so we need to really connect with their heart of longing for their children everywhere. After you are sent by God, don't make him worry about you, but become the person who can make him say, I can have you go quickly in my place. This is the glory of the earth. Yeah, so God can't witness. The glory of the earth is that we have our physical bodies and we can bring transformation to this world as even God cannot, So we need to go in God's place. Yes. You must always be determined to explode with your body upon your area and make a foundation of service there worthy of inviting heaven. Yeah, so use our limited physical time to explode in terms of our actions and particularly to witness. Continuing on, Father's quotes, now is the time when fallen man's loud cry for help and salvation resounds throughout heaven and earth. Unless you can hear that cry, you cannot penetrate to the heart of restoration. This is where our Chongsong, Chonchimwan prayer, our spiritual connection to find that spirit, that people are crying out for salvation, resounding throughout heaven and earth. You must feel such sensitivity towards your witnessing area that your bones and flesh are melted. When you are about to speak on a stage, begin with this artistic prayer. Father, I'm sorry that such an unworthy person as myself should speak. Don't be self-centered, but regard yourself as a soldier of God, delivering messages from Him. Witnessing results depend 40% on the spirit world, 30% on one's understanding of divine principle, and 30% on one's practice. So there you go. That's a time-honored, guidance from True Father that we need to really pray and prepare the spirit world. 40%. And then, what we're doing, how do we understand what we're teaching, what we're saying to people, how well we understand that and deliver that. And then, like the practice. Well, what's your techniques? What are you doing? What's your methodology? Is that effective and so on, right? Yeah. In your witnessing area, you must have the conviction that you are that you can confidently launch a competition of loyalty towards God by gathering all the residents and all the spirit men who lived there. So yeah, we have to work with the spirit world. It's just like fundraising. You pray for the spirit world to to move the people, right? Pray, work with the spirit world, and confidently, launch as it says, launch a competition of loyalty towards God by gathering all the residents and all the spirit men who lived there. Okay, so last point is some important advice from Reverend Du. As we know, he's been giving guidance each week, and I thought some really good guidance he gave just recently. I'll just go through a couple of slides here. Beloved brothers and sisters, I believe we are all striving in our particular situations in various ways to testify to true parents, yet at the core of these efforts, there should be confidence. No matter how impressive our witnessing programs are, or how brilliant our ideas, if we lack genuine, will be weakened. This confidence does not depend on how deeply we understand the principle or true parents' words. True confidence is rooted in the conscience, in how profoundly our lives have been transformed through putting true parents' teachings into practice. When we act upon that confidence in our mission work, we gain an unshakable conviction that we are truly living according to the word. With that conviction, we can stand with unwavering, strong self-esteem, undeterred by any criticism or misunderstanding that may come from others. He goes on to say, in John 13:35 says, by this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. The words of Jesus to his disciples. As this scripture says, when we love one another and embrace the world with love, the world will see true parents' love with service and action. People will feel the heart of true parents, heavenly parent, in us, and come to understand the path that true parents have walked. I believe that as we go out into the world and engage in witnessing activities for true parents more earnestly than ever before, people's heart will be filled with true love. Renowned American poet and author Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So our greatest asset and in witnessing is actually our love and our lives. And as Reverend Du also said, he said, in a dark night, where there's a house with a light, bright light, people will come to that. So in this fallen world, people are looking for love. They're looking for genuine people. They're looking for people who truly manifest true love. And when they see that, they will come. So this is really a very beautiful advice from Reverend Du, that the greatest thing is ourselves and our families and our community and our love for each other and for other people. So thank you very much for your attention today. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Reverend Stone, for sharing. It's a really great message. And before give a reflection, I think it's nice to listen to a praise song so that we can reflect on the words. So I'll just share that. Yeah, just bring it up. Okay. Let's enjoy.
사랑하는 어머님께
To our beloved true
위로의
mother,
마음을 담아
with a heart
사랑의 마음을
to comfort our
담아
heart, to
올리겠습니다.
let us offer this praise with our love.
나 홀로 걸어가네 이 마음 영원할 수 없네 거친 모래 폭풍이 불어 한치 앞도 보이지 않네 찾아야만 하는 내 자녀 간절하게 너를 부르네 영원할 수 없네 거친 모래 폭풍이 불어 한치 앞도 보이지 않네 찾아야만 하는 내 자녀 간절하게 너를 부르네 또다시 홀로 모래 폭풍 속을
Our true mother,
걸어가시는
who is once again walking the lonely
용서하여
path
주시옵소서
stormy desert, please forgive us.
멈출 수가 없네 거친 모래 폭풍이 불어 한치 앞도 보이지 않네 찾아야만 하는 내 자녀 간절하게 너를 부르네 거친 모래 폭풍이 불어 한치 앞도 보이지 않네 찾아야만 하는 내 자녀 간절하게 너를 부르네 거친 모래 폭풍이 불어 한치 앞도 보이지 않네 찾아야만 하는 내 자녀 간절하게 너를 부르네 이제 다시는 어머님 홀로 눈물의 가시밭길을 걷지 않으시도록
For our true mother to stop walking the lonely path, we will move forward with Chun Shimon to walk side by side with you.
걸어가네 이 마
차렷 경례 바로.
Yeah, so just something to think and reflect on, and thank you, Reverend Stone, for sharing these words on witnessing and yeah, really sharing the story of Stephen, the first martyr, and how he really gave his life, yeah, with deep passion and enthusiasm and also delight, you know. And yeah, it's really important. I have that same feeling, you know. Yeah, that witnessing is like breathing, and we need to breathe. And if you don't breathe, yeah, then you feel a lot of anxiety and stress, and but to really do what God desires, really is a great joy. And so many points that you mentioned that we can think and reflect upon. We really need, as that formula sort of, you showed, 40% spirit world and 30% divine principle and 30% practice. We need the spiritual support, and that's why the Chongsim One prayer and doing it collectively. Always, I realize that you cannot do anything alone. Always need to have a relationship, to have a partnership, to have a pair, at least a pair. And then going out, at the exhibition, the members and together with the Heavenly Top Gun, really work. And it's a struggle because we're battling through intense ignorance and also apathy and people very satisfied with themselves. Really moving our mind to help people think of others is also things that we need to do with our attitude. There's so many things that we need to refresh our own determination, and having humility and gratitude is key. Being able to do for others and not for ourselves, but to work as a team, to pray, to witness. Everything is really determined on finding those precious people who are God's children. We sometimes forget that we are amongst the first, and we've been chosen, and we're living in this golden age. In fact, all of the firsts of Jesus' time lived during the time of Jesus walking physically on the earth. And as we know, St. Paul wasn't around or didn't meet Jesus, and it was only on that road to Damascus he had this turning point and realized that he had made a big mistake, and then ended up guiding Christianity to great heights. So we need to realize that we are looking for great leaders, and we're helping blessed families recognize that we are truly chosen, and sometimes we need to recognize that only together can we effectively make this great change. And it took hundreds of years, thousands of years, for God's will to reach where we are now. And only a precious few live in the golden age. People lived in the golden age of Christ, and so many missed that opportunity. And we are living in the golden age of our true mother, our true parents, and it's up to us to, as Mother has instructed time and time again, at least 1/3 should know. And if we can do that, then we are really speeding up the providence. God's providence is to bring about a world of peace and harmony. In the realization of all the three blessings being accomplished, and it's up to us because God can't do it alone. True parents can't do it alone. God did his responsibility. True parents have done their responsibility, and everyone has responsibility. And so we can gain that strength and succeed in our responsibility. So a lot of things to reflect on and to really contemplate. So thank you, Reverend Stone, for sharing, and open it up to anyone else that would like to make a comment. Yes, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, morning everyone. Thank you, Greg. It's amazing information and a lot to work on there. Look, I really want to convey, I really feel Heavenly Parents pushing me to convey this. It's really important. And I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my life of faith is based on those little sayings that jump out at you in the middle of nowhere. You're reading something and it just comes to life. And when I was in the Solomons, Paul Saber had a very small book, like a quarter page, just a few pages of Father's interpretation of the divine principle. Can you imagine how important that book was? I've never seen it before, and I've never seen it since. And I'm reading this little book, and it's Father's talking about lecturing to people. And of course, you can imagine he's watching their spirit come to life, right, as he's talking. And he's saying, I'm watching these people and I'm looking around and I can see people coming to life and they're getting, more and more inspired. And then I'm thinking to myself, this is Father talking, I'm going to focus on that person and raise them up. And I'm thinking, that's how you do it. And he says that one day I'll raise them up and I'll totally focus on that person and they'll become a good member. And I'm thinking, that's right. And then he says this statement. I really want people to listen to this because it's so important. He said, if you do that, and I'm thinking, yes, that's what you have to do. If you do that, they will not resurrect. And I was so shocked, and I had to went back 4 or 5 times and I read it. What's going on? And it's such an important point. And then I think it's just no time to explain the ramifications of what that means. And of course, Father, being who he is, gives no other explanation. That was the end of that, what he was talking about. So you have to come to your own conclusions. And anyway, I'm just going to leave it up to people to try and understand what that means, because we've talked about witnessing to leaders and then witnessing to not so good people. And very honestly with you, I joined with Barry Callaghan. And Barry was a legend. He was a legend out of the church. He had a street level reputation, and he joined the church and he was seen as a potential great leader. As soon as he witnessed, he got spiritual children, and I always felt like the secondary member that joined together with him. I always felt that, and so that's part of the story, right? That's, I think, what we have to watch out for in raising people up. And it's such an unconscious thing to do, to focus on people you believe are spiritually higher or have more potential. Anyway, one of the deepest inspirations I've had, I wish I could find that little book again. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thank you. Yes, Katrine, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you very much, Greg, that you put it so well together. Basically, you've said it all. But I just like to share because I feel very inspired and sometimes even more than inspired, a bit passionate to go out. And there is always a little sentence of True Father which keeps coming back to me, and I shared it just a few days ago in one of our breakout sessions when Father said, I know you love God and true parents, but now you have to love the world. And he really meant it's a bit harder to love the world, but that's what you have to do. Yeah, and anyway, going to the streets is actually a very, very profound experience of really looking for the people that God has prepared. And I must say, when they come in and when they see what something new, and it is an amazing feeling within your heart that I cannot even describe, because I'm not good at finding the right words usually. But you see when somebody is really prepared, when they really have good questions, when there are people who search, and of course it's an amazing feeling when they say they want to come back. Like one time one person did come back and my heart was like beating, It was such an amazing feeling that I really was exploding, And but also, of course, you have to experience that they don't come back. When you really felt that, they were really sincere when they told you they come back, and they don't come back. But then afterwards, I pray and I think of God, and I think, and God says to me, well, it shows you, Catherine, that there are many prepared people out there, even though we look at the world and we think, oh my gosh, how can we bring this world back to God? But actually, we are looking for single people and God has never stopped working. So yeah, I could go on and on, but I better stop there and let other people share. But yeah, it's a very beautiful feeling to experience going out there. Yeah, and thank you, Greg. That was a very good topic and very yeah, very well presented. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Katrine. Thank you. And yeah, if there's anyone else wanting to share, please do. Yes, Ron Yutaka.
Yes, thank you, Reverend Stone, for your sharing. So I think this witnessing exhibition preparation is really a good occasion. So of course, cannot share the all people's name, but really even some people is coming 30 minutes and 1 hour. And when we distribute the paper, that time that person doesn't come, but suddenly after a few days, people come. I received before, I received yesterday, and also come and enter by themselves. That's why I think this is really not individual effort, all member, even small short time period investment, but this really the guide the atmosphere and create, then really guide the people. So I believe Chansong and believe and unity, this can make us or lead us to meet the prepared person. So all our brothers and sisters, your prayer or your preparation and even support, this is really the great investment and together to create the result. So I believe we will continue this effort. So I wish also pray and also even short time if you can come. And even we can open these things to another center if you want. So let's really create the things and really testify our Heavenly Parent and True Parents. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Reverend Gutaka. Thank you, everyone. And it's time now to offer our unison prayer. So I'll just bring up the screen. Yes. Okay, let's pray together. Thank you. Jew. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Reverend Stone, for sharing, and I hope everyone has a great day and see you all again tomorrow. So thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Have a nice week.
Yeah, thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Rex.
Yeah. Have a nice weekend.